Well guys, it's almost time. Crisis on Earth 1, the Arrowverse fan game developed by a team led by Teco, is set to be released, or at least is aimed to be released, within the next couple of weeks, and man, what a journey it's been from start to finish. Massively improved graphics, a fluctuating character roster and list of maps, and tons of awesome features being added, like multiverse travel, unlockables, and secret collectibles. It feels like it's been years since we've seen that first video on Teco's channel, but it's only been 1 year. How crazy is that? Now that having been said, all these twists and turns in Crisis on Earth 1's development have led to people asking tons of questions about what all we'll be seeing in the final build of the game. So, in anticipation of the hopefully soon release of the game, I've gone through every single one of the Crisis on Earth 1 update videos and come up with a list of things I think we might and might not be seeing when we finally get to play as our favorite Arrowverse characters. Yeah, I have no idea if anything I'm going to mention in this video is true or not. I haven't asked Teco or the rest of the dev team about any of this, mostly because we're just so close to the release of the game as is, so they probably wouldn't want to reveal any more than what's already been revealed on Discord or in Teco's videos. Or maybe I'm wrong and they'll just point that out in the comments of this video. Who knows?
I have to keep some surprises in the game.
So as should be pretty obvious by this point, Teco and the dev team cut down on a lot of the content they were originally planning to put into the game. It went from a decently sized planned roster with a totally original fan story to having an even bigger roster but a series of playable moments from across the Arrowverse instead of a huge story, and finally settling on only focusing on a single crossover event with the only characters being those featured in the event. So yeah, it kinda sucks, but at the same time, I'll still be able to run around 2 universes and play as the Flash, so I don't really care all that much. But then comes the final update video.
Some locations and some characters are already back in the game, but I won't be telling which characters or locations they are.
Holy shit, some of the cut content is being added back in? Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But wait a minute, what content is Teco talking about? Well, as far as the characters go, I'm fairly confident that the ones we already saw in the Unreal Engine updates, like Speedster Iris, Ralph Dibny, Kid Flash, Zoom/Black Flash, Guardian, and Constantine are all solid contenders. I mean, they've already been developed and proven to work in the Unreal Engine. Some of them Teco seem to enjoy playing around with, others give more representation to shows other than the Flash, and give people who don't want to play with superpowered characters more options to pick from, and Constantine's one of Teco's favorite characters, so it makes sense. Other characters we might, emphasis on might, also see make a return include Superman, the Rival, Grodd, and Solovar, and the Leviathan. They were all fully developed models back in the Unity days, for the most part. Leviathan would give Atom players something huge to wail on when they're giant size in Director mode. The Rival is kind of important in the sense that he was one of the first characters to have an emphasis on alternate costumes, and Solovar had a whole level built around his fight with Barry back in Season 3. More on this later. So you'd think at least some of these guys would be relatively important enough to be added back in, but at the same time, we haven't seen any of these characters pop up in the Unreal Engine videos or had any kind of mention on Discord, so it'd be kind of a stretch expecting any of these guys to suddenly show up out of nowhere in the final game. Really, the only one I'd kinda expect to show up to some degree would be Superman, just because he was kinda sorta mentioned during a conversation between Kara and Eobard.
My cousin, he'll find you.
Your cousin? Really? Fun tidbit. I fought your cousin once. In the future. He is fast. I'm faster.
But like I said, it's a bit of a stretch. Now there is one character I'm not entirely sure about, like the possibilities kind of leaning either way at this point, and that's Red Tornado. He's never actually been shown off in Teco's videos, and as far as I'm aware, he's never actually been mentioned on Discord either, but considering how the character did feature in the crossover, and was mentioned as a request by Teco in the comments of the final update, I'd say there's enough evidence here that makes it seem like we'll be getting Red Tornado. That having been said, considering his pretty quick role in the crossover, I'm not sure if he'll just be something like a boss battle or an actual playable character. Probably just a boss battle now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, could you imagine making this guy a playable character? That'd be the shortest campaign playthrough ever.
Barry, we need you to hurry up, someone's hurt.
All right, we're on the move.
Now, as far as who we won't be seeing in the final game, it seems pretty obvious that we won't be seeing a lot of the characters we've seen in earlier update videos, including Manny, Chaz, and Nurgle from Constantine, Mon-El, Martian Manhunter, and the White Martians from Supergirl, and Hawkman, Hawkgirl, and Rip Hunter from Legends of Tomorrow. It doesn't really seem like Teco and the dev team put too much effort into getting any of these characters polished and ready for gameplay past the Unity days, plus most of them had zero impact on the Crisis on Earth X story, and or really weren't as important to the overall story of the Arrowverse by the time the crossover rolled around anyway, so it makes sense that they would stay on the cutting room floor. Really though, the important thing to remember about all these characters is that, regardless of who's actually returning and who's not, it's a pretty safe bet that anybody who didn't actually have a role in the Crisis on Earth X story are probably either just going to be hidden characters you can play around with in free roam, or are just going to be playable in director mode. Speaking of, I love the idea of director mode. It looks amazing and like it's going to be a lot of fun. I really hope it lives up to what Teco was saying though, and that we'll actually be able to play as any character we want. I really want to do my own villain versus villain and villain versus hero battles, like play as Black Flash against the Ray or something. But you know what? I don't know why Teco and the dev team couldn't take things a step further and make it possible for you to pick a new location to play around with on top of choosing different characters to use, you know what I mean? I know this is a long shot at best, but Teco did reveal that some cut locations would be added back in the game.
Some locations and some characters are already back in the game.
So it's possible that we could see maps like Lian-Yu, the arena in Gorilla City, the Arrow Bunker, and possibly Flashpoint, given that these were all previously developed maps, and they could be extra ways to feature characters who weren't really a big part of the crossover story, like Kid Flash and the Rival for example. Or maybe I'm totally wrong and we can just visit these in free roam or something, who knows. Now as far as the costumes go, I love this idea. I always love the idea of being able to alter your character's look, and the costumes we've seen so far look awesome and seem like they'll be a ton of fun to use. Now, as mentioned in the final update video, we will have the ability to unlock a bunch of alternate costumes, and it seems like most of the characters in the game are going to have at least one, but I'm not exactly sure what costumes we'll be seeing. Something like an Arsenal costume for Green Arrow or the Earth X versions of the main Trinity are pretty safe bets, just because earlier update videos made it seem like they play exactly the same as currently confirmed characters anyway, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense wasting a spot on the roster for them when they could be used to beef up the list of options for different costumes you can unlock instead. This final update video seems to hint towards this idea in the part when Teco's busy showing off the costume menu. You can see what looks like a weirdly shaped, bulky looking arm in the list of costumes for the Flash, and since I don't remember Barry sprouting an abnormal growth on his forearm at any point in time, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and suggest that this could be the return of Savitar to the game. Wouldn't that be interesting? Of course, Teco also suggested that older update videos could feature appearances from other costumes you'll be able to unlock, meaning we might be seeing costumes like White Canary's original suit, Season 3 Killer Frost, and unmasked versions of Flash and Green Arrow. I'm assuming the hidden Bebos you collect are possibly going to be tying into how you unlock these costumes, but for all I know, the unlocking process could just be something as simple as do some random task in game X amount of times, who knows. What I do know is that this next part is going to be a huge stretch, even for everything I mentioned in the video. See, Teco mentioned in the final update that you'll be able to do a bunch of stuff in Star Labs.
There are a number of things that you can do inside Star Labs,
making it sound like there's more you can do besides just opening breaches, pick new costumes, and simulate your own hallway talks. So could it be possible that we might be able to develop tech or gadgets or something from across the Arrowverse? Things that we could possibly equip to help us during combat, or possibly make the game more challenging, kind of like the skulls in Halo. Or maybe we can run back in time by running around the particle accelerator and opening up a wormhole. That'd be a good way to make Flashpoint accessible, right? But like I said, all that's a pretty big stretch considering we've gotten next to no hints about anything else we'd be able to do in Star Labs, and a lot of that stuff seems like it'd be pretty hard to implement just weeks out before release, so consider these just more hopeful ideas at best. Either way, regardless of whether or not I'm right or wrong about anything I've mentioned here, Crisis on Earth 1 is looking like it's going to be an awesome game, and I cannot wait to play it. Fingers crossed it actually does come out during the crossover, or at least sometime around then, because I am busting a gut to try this thing out. But anyways guys, those are just my thoughts on the upcoming Crisis on Earth 1 fan game. If you guys agreed with anything I said in this video, have your own thoughts you want to throw out there, or want to see me do a playthrough of the game here on the channel, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to sub to Teco's channel and check out the game's official Discord. Both of those links are going to be in the description down below. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, then go ahead and click that like button, and if you're new, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button too. I've also got links to my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon in the description. You should probably check those out too. And if you want to see more of my content, then you can click the link to my last video. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Alright, and I will see you all next time.